Hi there, and welcome to NexChapter, recorded right here in the Republic studio. And think about it as a Republic for founders and entrepreneurs, where we share wisdom, have fun, and celebrate the journey of some post-exit entrepreneurs. I am Raman Sehgal, and I am the host of this show, and I'm also the author of The Floundering Founder and the chapter lead here in Toronto for PEF, which is the Post-Exit Founders Group. So what is this show about and who is it for? Well, look, this show is for founders that are scaling their businesses and founders that have sold and trying to figure out what to do next. NexChapter is very much about unfiltered wisdom from post-exit founders. And you'll hear that line in every single episode because that's who I am interviewing on the show. I am interviewing founders and entrepreneurs that have built and sold 1, 2, sometimes more than 3 businesses. And it's certainly not the billionaire boys fantasy land. The focus of NexChapter is looking at amazing entrepreneurs that have maybe gone under the radar and actually built incredibly successful businesses. So the real version, the real stories, the real exits, and that feel kind of credible, accessible, and doable as well, and certainly not things that are very, very unattainable. And these are entrepreneurs that are going through the struggle that many of you might be going through, and also have tried to figure out what's on the other side. And selfishly, each of these interviews give me some serious zing. I love meeting people like this. Each of the interviews typically lasts between 40 and 60 minutes, and that gives me enough time to ask lots of questions and extract that wisdom and share it with all of you, wherever you are on your journey. And each episode kind of follows quite a consistent format in terms of the 3 T's: the trajectory of the business, so the kind of killer plays, the pivots, the decisions that the entrepreneur made that helped build a business that had traction and was able to build value. And then the transaction itself, how did that come about, and what was the deal like, the things that they learned, the things they got right and wrong. And then on the other side of the deal is the transition, the 3rd T: what happened next after the deal. And that is very, very different for each of the entrepreneurs. And it's not always what you think it's going to be. And as you listen and watch the shows, you'll start seeing some amazing patterns and themes that you can bring into your own journey. Okay, a bit about why I am doing this. I spent a couple of decades building some reasonably successful businesses. One of those is a marketing agency called Remarketing, which works in the kind of pharmaceutical supply chain. So super, super niche marketing company, which is featured in my book very, very heavily. And I sold a chunk of that to a private equity company a few years ago. So I've been through a journey very similar to lots of the people that we have on the show. And what I've found over the years is actually my experience has been of huge value to other people on the journey, or in fact, others that have sold their business. I've been through the startup, the stress, the growth, the scaling, the deal process itself, the transaction, and then the identity shift on the other side when you're, not the main guy or gal anymore. And it is quite the journey, I have to say. And so that's why I am doing this podcast, is to quite simply, in the same way that I wrote my book, is to just help other people on their journey. In the book itself, The Floundering Founder, it's been out for over 4 years now. And that was really my attempt to tell my story and talk about the messy middle of pivoting and actually growing a business. I did that book that actually went all the way to the point of transaction. After the book came out, I actually did a transaction about a year later. So this is, in many ways, is almost like an encore to the book, but different version, more modern platform, and a platform that shares perspectives rather than pages. And podcast is not new to me. It's certainly not my first rodeo, as I've done nearly 300 podcasts in the pharmaceutical sector, podcast called Molecule to Market, where I've interviewed leaders from across the pharma and biopharma ecosystem. Probably not that relevant for you guys, but nevertheless gives you an insight to, this is not my first time, certainly in terms of podcasting. So there you have it. Like, that is kind of what NexChapter is about. as I mentioned, it all happens in the Republic studio, albeit virtually. So the vibe is very much relaxed and conversational. I cheers the guest right at the start with a drink of their choice. And so it's designed to be something that you guys can just enjoy as well as extract information. You can watch NexChapter on YouTube, and you can listen on Apple, Spotify, and I'm sure lots of other podcast platforms. And if you want to stay in touch with us and get the latest news of when we're dropping everything, then please subscribe at the next-chapter.com website. I'm sure there's a link wherever you're viewing or listening today, and join the mailing list where we drop all the episodes. And I will be actually dropping 6 episodes in one go very, very soon, so you can really get your teeth into. So think about it like Netflix or whatever, dropping an entire series. So I want you guys to share and enjoy. And if you're, founders scaling that might be of interest or might find this interesting, then please send this to them. If you're building, then this is probably the show for you. And if you're selling, it definitely will be. And even if you're on the other side of the journey, you are going to learn a lot from my amazing guests. So thank you so much for being here. This is NexChapter, and I really hope you enjoy it.